Good evening and very warm welcome. Uh, Welcome to this beautiful talk for the women. Importance of core strength and pelvic floor muscles for women. My name is Raji Vivek. I am a SHARAN facilitator. I am joining you all from Abu Dhabi. Let me share my journey briefly. I'm a yoga therapist by profession, and I have been working in corporate for 15 years. Over the period of time, I realized how stress and wrong lifestyle is causing many chronic illness, lifestyle diseases in friends and colleagues in my surroundings. So I started my wellness journey that led me to yoga. I completed masters in yoga from Esvyasa University. Then in this path, I came across Sharan, the whole food plant-based lifestyle. When I adopted Sharan wholeheartedly, I could see my health getting transformed. I have not visited doctor for the past 4 years. I have not taken a single medicine. My weight is always in constant levels, and I feel very energetic. So now I made this as a mission in my life to spread both yoga and Sharan lifestyle to prevent and reverse the diseases. Hope my journey has inspired you all. So we all know how Sharan lifestyle really helps in having a wonderful health and a fulfilling life. So today, this event, my co-host Sylvia, she is helping me in co-hosting and spotlighting and everything. I would like to invite her and give her introduction. Over to you, Sylvia.
Thank you so much, and good afternoon or good evening to everyone. Yes, I'm Silvia. I'm an Italian mother of 41 years old based in Denmark, south of Denmark. And myself as well, I experienced the all plant-based lifestyle not too long ago, but I started in 2019 when I suffered from multiple illnesses, and especially I had very heavy surgery due to an umbilical hernia and bacterial cysts in my liver. Thanks to the lifestyle I started to follow at that time, whilst I decided myself to drop all the medicine, today I'm a healthy mom, very energetic, and I cannot look back. I'm trying to raise my kids and help all my friends to follow this wonderful lifestyle and, of course, diet because it's the best way to go. And I really hope that our experience and the talk of today can help everybody in and much more. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sylvia, for that wonderful, inspiring journey. Thanks for sharing. Let me introduce our dear yoga expert, health coach, and wonderful, wonderful human being, Sharmila Kannan. She will be our presenter today. She is going to talk on importance of pelvic floor muscles and core strength, especially for women. This is the topic we generally hesitate to ask or discuss, but here she is opening her heart to us and give us all the valuable information that you need to know about your pelvic health. Um, Sharmila also handles Sharan COVID desk, and she has helped n number of people recover from COVID without a single medicine. So she handles COVID desk for Sharan, and she makes very informative Hindi videos in collaboration with FitTak. So kindly check out our Sharan YouTube channel, FitTak YouTube channel, and check for Sharmila Kannan's Hindi language videos. So I welcome Sharmila. Over to you, Sharmila.
Thank you, Raji, for this wonderful introduction. And thanks to both Raji and Sylvia today for agreeing to host and co-host my event. So friends, today's talk is about diastasis recti, umbilical hernia, uterine and bladder prolapse. So this talk is especially for women because we women have, when we have a weak core, we also have uterine prolapse, which is like uterus coming below into our vagina, and many a times uterus comes out of the vagina also, which for which the doctors have really no option but to advise us to have surgery. So these kind of situations, the earlier we realize it, the better it is. And all of us have to have a certain understanding about how our bodies are made also. So we are going to see that also today, so that we understand when we look at ourselves, we should know what is happening and why it is happening so that we can rectify it at an early stage. So let me go to. So if you're in the age group of 30s, 40s, 50s, do you feel like passing urine frequently? Or do you feel that you're sitting on a small ball? Or you have lower back pain? Or you feel that something is coming out of your vagina? Or you look pregnant many years after delivery also? Does your navel jut out? Now, this is a real pic of a patient. Or you find it difficult to eat a full meal. You know, when you eat a full meal, when you have a hernia, you'll feel pain around the navel region. See, to understand all this, we need to understand our body, the way it is made. So on your left, you have an image of the female pelvis from the front. And on your right, you have this image of the female pelvis as though you're looking into it from the top. So on the left, the images has two exits. One exit is for the urine. The second bigger one is the vaginal opening. On your right, the image is you have is of the female pelvis, which is a hammock-like structure, within which you have your uterus, your fallopian tubes, your ovaries, and your urinary bladder. The normal construction of a female body is such that, you know, the uterus bends over the bladder. That is why when you have a growing child within you, you feel the need to urinate more frequently because the growing child puts more pressure on the bladder. So the urine has to escape. What happens is after delivery, the uterus comes down a bit and it doesn't go back to its original position. So you feel like urinating more frequently many years after delivery also. In our earlier life, when we used to, work around the house, we didn't have mixies and all those kind of fancy stuff that we have now. So the kind of movements that we are doing, when we used to use the chakki for grinding flour, we used to move like this. Yeah. So this kind of movement, the front and back movement that we make on the chakki, it used to strengthen our reproductive organs. When we carry weights, when we sort of, when we work around the house, it strengthens our bodies. Even the silbatta, what we call as the mortar and the pestle, when we used to grind flour on that, the kind of movement that we used to do like this, front and back, that used to give adequate exercise to our reproductive organs and the intestines also. So we were stronger at that time. The usage of the chakki, the South Indian style for grinding the batter for idli and dosa, that also used to give so much of exercise to your body. Nowadays, we are using, all of us are using mixies, and we have taken up so many responsibilities upon us. We are supporting the family, sometimes single-handedly and sometimes along with other family members, but we have a lot more stuff to do. We have so many responsibilities. We are actually goddesses. But then we need to be aware of our body so that we can check it at time so that we can do some repair actions also. Now, the first issue of a diastasis recti. What is this diastasis recti? All of us, below the rib cage, we have these two muscles which come down from the rib cage to the navel, below the navel till our pelvis, and these muscles run on both sides of the navel. This is called the rectus abdominis. Now, this is the muscle which gives rise to your six-pack abs. This muscle is joined together by a soft tissue called the linea alba. When you are pregnant, the linea alba and the rectus abdominis, all the muscles in the stomach, your entire stomach area stretches to the maximum during pregnancy to accommodate the fetus. After delivery, it is supposed to come back. The body is actually very elastic and it should come back, and the rectus abdominis should join together. The linea alba should stretch and de-stretch also. It is that elastic. Many a times, due to weakness in the core strength, and so many other reasons like obesity, also it doesn't join back. Now, this abdominal gap in the rectus abdominis is called diastasis recti. This is not actually life-threatening, but it is better to correct it because a weak core, which gives rise to diastasis recti, can eventually give rise to umbilical hernia, and a weak core can give rise to eventually a uterine prolapse also. And of course, we all want to look good. Many years after delivery, we want our figures to get back to at least the near previous shape, right? So there are many types of diastasis recti. In the first image on your left, you see a stomach which has absolutely no separation. In the second image, you're seeing a separation below the navel. In the third image, you're seeing a separation around the navel and below. Sometimes you are seeing the separation, as in the fourth image, above the navel. And sometimes, as in the fifth image, you can see it is an open diastasis, that is above the navel, on the navel, and below the navel also. So it can happen in different ways in different women. What happens? Your tummy ends up looking like this or like this. So above navel, it is slightly better, but below navel, there is a pooch, there is a flap which simply doesn't go away, no matter how much you exercise and how much of weight you have lost. So this is something that you can check it out yourself, dear ladies. What you have to do is, you have to lie down on the mat, your heels firmly on the ground, with either with one hand or without the support of the hand. You have to raise the head, and using your 2 fingers or 3 fingers, push down your navel. Keep your hands horizontal, not vertical. Keep it horizontal, either 2 finger or 3 finger. First try with 2 fingers. Push down your navel and slightly move the fingers left and right. You will be able to see the 2 muscles, the rectus abdominis, on either side of the navel. If your finger goes in, 2 fingers go in, you have a 2-finger recti. If 3 fingers go in, you have a 3-finger recti. If all 4 fingers go in, it means that you have a 4-finger diastasis recti, which is a major abdominal separation. Now, you can keep your fingers, you can try it out after this talk is over, 1 centimeter above the navel and 1 centimeter below the navel also, to check from where the diastasis is actually starting. Whether it is starting from the navel, very much above the navel, or much below the navel, or from where. You can check this position out on your own. There's no need for any technically qualified person for this. You can do it yourselves. Okay. Now, the second issue we are coming to is umbilical hernia. What is hernia? When an internal organ protrudes through the navel due to the weak connective tissue, it is called the umbilical hernia. So either the small intestine or the large intestine can poke out, and your navel juts out because of that. We will see that in the coming slides also. Normally, newborn babies may have hernia once the umbilical cord is cut, because it takes some time for the connective tissue to sort of join back together. So when you hold newborn babies in your arms, when they cry, sometimes the stomach comes out along with the navel. Then you can make out that they have hernia. But till the age of 4 or 5, it closes up and the hernia is no more visible. Here I have a representational image of African children with umbilical hernia. If you can see, the navel is jutting out. This is hernia. The third issue is uterine prolapse. See, the natural positioning of the bladder is below and the uterus is above. So when we are expecting, what happens is the growing fetus puts a pressure on the bladder. So we feel like urinating more often. After delivery, the uterus has to shift back to its original location. Many a times this does not happen. And on the left hand side, you can see a normal uterus. On the right hand side, you can see the prolapsed uterus. Now the prolapse comes in different stages. It is not that one day suddenly your uterus comes out of your vagina. You can feel it coming down slowly. Because see, you have a bag in your hand. We can compare the female pelvis to a bag also. That bag has some exit holes also. If you keep something heavy in the bag and the bag is weak, what happens? It gives away and it starts, whatever is inside the bag, it will start coming down, right? The issue is we have a vagina from where it can actually come out. So the uterus tends to come out, or you feel that it is going to come out. You can feel the pressure in your vagina even while sitting. Sometimes you cannot stand for a long time. Sometimes you cannot climb stairs because any pressure, anything, you've been exerting yourself on the toilet seat and you feel that it is about to come out. So you have to keep your legs slightly closer so that it sort of, you're able to push it back, right? So that is uterine prolapse. When it comes out fully, then you have no option but to get it removed. The prolapse of the uterus is in several stages. As you can see from the left, there is a healthy uterus here. It is above. The first stage, it comes out, it comes slightly below. The second stage, it comes even more below. The third stage, it is sort of very close to the vagina, or it is sort of visible from the vagina. When you touch yourself, you can feel the uterus there. So why let it come to that stage? It is better to be aware of our own bodies so that we are able to take steps to prevent this from happening. Now, once you've had hysterectomy, many times the bladder prolapse may happen. Now the bladder starts coming out because the uterus has been removed, but the pelvic floor muscles are still weak. So anything which is there inside the bladder or some other tissue, it can start poking out. So what are the reasons? One is obesity. See, when you are obese, it puts a lot of pressure on your pelvic diaphragm, and that can cause a kind of prolapse. So along with prolapse, whatever else can happen, diastasis recti can happen, hernia can happen, all these things can happen. So it is always better, we will see it in the solutions, to avoid obesity. Then the birth of several children. So you've not only, so many times it can happen even in women who've had just one kid. But if you had several children, there are more chances because repeatedly the stomach muscles have been fully stretched. You have a petite structure, lack of core strength. Now we'll come to core strength later, how to make out that you have lack of core strength. Or birth of a very heavy child. So if you've given birth to a very chubby baby, then that can also result in so much of pressure in your stomach, in your reproductive organs, that it can result in prolapse. Now, it can be genetic also. This is a real pic of a mother and daughter. The mother has prolapse, umbilical hernia, and diastasis recti, and the daughter also has it. This is how your tummy starts looking like. So below the navel, you're able to feel it or see it more clearly. Above the navel, it may still appear slightly normal, but there will be some kind of fat accumulation, or it sort of protrudes outwards. If you apply a lot of force during childbirth, if your pregnancy, your delivery has been very difficult, then also it can lead to weaker pelvic floor muscles and an eventual prolapse. If you've been lifting weights in the wrong way, or if you're really doing very heavy work, so it can happen to women even in village settings where we feel that maybe village women are stronger than us, but if they are repeatedly doing very heavy work, then also it can happen. Or if you're suffering from constipation, like you have to sit on the toilet seat and apply a lot of pressure to pass stool, then it can happen. Or if you're suffering from chronic cough, especially after childbirth, even if you cough slightly, many women feel that a few drops of urine does leak out. And with menopause, reducing estrogen can also cause it. So in all, the reasons are constipation, core muscles weakness, chronic cough, hysterectomy, birth of a heavy baby, lifting weight, lessening estrogen, obesity, wrong exercises also. What are the solutions available? Medically, doctors advise us to get a pessary inserted or go in for surgery. We would say that it is better to try out yoga for pelvic floor, of course, along with advice from your gynae, whether you can actually do it or not. If the situation is mild to moderate, I would suggest that you do yoga first and see if you can sort of control it. Many times with yoga, you can rectify it also. So the first among the solutions, we talk about solutions, what to do, change your food. Your food should have sufficient fiber so that fat, hormones, and all the toxins can be eliminated, and you don't suffer from constipation also. We suffer from constipation because there is not sufficient fiber in the food, fiber which acts like a broom and removes the feces from the body. Green smoothie. Green smoothie cleans your intestines, removes constipation, fills you with nutrients. Now, on SHARAN website, there are lots of recipes for making a green smoothie. So you can visit our website, see recipes, and start making the green smoothie in the morning. That will get you rid of, the tea, coffee liking that we have. Early morning, what do we drink? We normally drink tea or coffee. So if you start having green smoothies, in just about 21 days, all your habits will change and you will not feel like having tea, coffee again. You'll get addicted to the green smoothie. It is that tasty, that nutritious, and you feel so energetic and so damn, you look younger also. Consume whole foods. Now, what does whole food mean? Means that instead of the white rice, which is devoid of all kinds of fiber, any kind of fiber at all, and nutrients also, turn to either millets or to brown rice. Now, what we call as the maki dal or urad dal, have it with the skin on, either the urad chilka or urad sabut. The masoor also, have it sabut with don't de-skin, don't have it masoor thuli. Now, the third one is this other moong dal. Moong dal also have it with the skin, don't have it without skin. Why? Because the skin has lots of nutrients right underneath. So if you're going to have it with the skin, it will fill you with lot more of nutrition than the dhuli one. And even in fruits, like the banana has to be peeled, but not necessarily the apple. The apple can simply be washed. Many times the chiku, sapota, has very soft skin. You can just wash it and have it. Carrots don't have to be peeled. Mooli, radish doesn't have to be peeled. You just have to wash it properly and have it. So do that with whatever fruits you can have with the peel on. Have lots of fruits and have lots of salads. They'll fill you with energy, fill you with fiber, lots of vitamin and nutrients, and you will, because of the fiber, you will not suffer constipation. And all your hormones and all, the toxins in your body, the fat in your body can be removed because of the fiber. Why? What happens is the toxins find their hiding space in the fat. So when you have a lot of fat in the body, it means that toxins may have also found their space in the fat. Because of fiber, the fat will be removed and the toxins will also go out. So revert to fruits and salad in your diet. Need for B12. Now this need for B12 has been oft repeated also, but your body really needs B12 for red blood cells, for your DNA, for anemia, for your nervous system, for your mental health. So B12 has to be supplemented. You don't get it, mostly both vegetarians and non-vegetarians are short of B12, and also D3, which we call as the sunshine vitamin. You have to supplement D3 because D3 can be obtained directly if you stand in early morning sunlight. Let's say if you can tolerate midday sunlight also, well, if that your work is of the kinds that you're spending time in the sun and you're getting enough sunlight, then you may not be deficient in D3. But most of us are remaining inside now. We prefer the air-conditioned ambience of our home or our offices. Or many nowadays, because of COVID also, we are inside the room. So we may be deficient in D3. If you can spend 15 to 20 minutes daily in the sunlight, early morning sun, you're taking it directly on your skin without standing, behind a window or behind a curtain or without applying any sunscreen lotions or anything, then you can get D3 directly from the sun. Sun is a provider of life. It's a provider of energy. You do require D3 in the body to prevent so many diseases also. Calcium absorption in the body requires D3. If you want to prevent diabetes, depression, then you require T3. So you have to supplement T3 or stay out in the sun daily 15 to 20 minutes. Don't consume processed foods or meat because it doesn't give you any kind of nutrition. It only is generally made of maida and it is harmful for your body. Meat, fish, egg, they contain a lot of hormones, cholesterol, and fat. So they will make you fat. If you have these conditions, then avoid anything that is coming from the animal, including fat and butter, oil and butter. Oil and butter is also adding fat to your body. A spoonful of oil contains about 120 calories. So it is calories without any vitamin, without any phytonutrient, without any mineral. It is only going to make you fat. Same with butter. It will add fat to the stomach region. Generally, that is what happens. So this is something to be avoided. There are lots of recipes on the SHARAN website of food which can be made very tasty and cooked very well without using oil. So if you cannot avoid oil initially, at least I would say that please reduce the amount of oil. Slowly, gradually, you can come to a point where you can actually cook food without any oil. So if you're using, let's say, 4 tablespoons for doing your tadka or frying your onion and garlic and potatoes for making the gravy, reduce it to 3, then 2, then 1. You only have to reduce the gas, the flame, and keep stirring so that it doesn't burn out, and sprinkle some water on top. You will find a lot of information on the SHARAN website. And another thing, every mother's milk is for its own child. You know, in the nature, if you see, a cow does not go and drink, a calf doesn't drink an elephant's milk, or baby elephant doesn't go and drink the horse's milk. But it's only the human being which years after getting weaned away says that I need the milk of another species. It is actually absolutely not required. Children develop their habits from the parents. If the parents are very healthy and they are a lot into whole food plant-based diet, they can inculcate the same habits in the child, and the child does not need any milk at all. In fact, my daughter we were also not vegan, and she had psoriasis for about 17 years. She stopped drinking milk at the age of 2.5, because all our children, we are all lactose intolerant after a few years because we don't have the enzymes to break down. But then she developed psoriasis because I was giving her curd and ghee and all that. So for 17 years, I spent thousands on her treatment without a positive response. But the moment she turned vegan, within 3 months, her 17-year psoriasis disappeared as if it was non-existent. You could see the scalp very clearly. She had it on her head. So that is what milk protein is doing to us now. It has casein also, which is actually cancer causing. Substitute for milk. Now, what do we do? How do we make our milkshakes and ice creams? So we take out milk from peanuts, from oats, from coconut, and from almonds, and it pretty much satisfies all our requirements for milk. Substitute for dahi is also there. We make cashew dahi, soya bean dahi, and peanut dahi also. Peanut curd is also there. Recipes are there on the SHARAN website. Sylvia has already placed them there. Please take note, visit our website, see the recipes, and you can very easily make these at home. Now, when you change your diet, you're actually going to get collagen for the skin and muscles from the food directly, instead of taking supplements. Remember that the only supplements our body needs is B12 and D3. Second, don't eat lots in one go, because if you have weak core and you have umbilical hernia, if you eat lots of food in one go, you will feel pain near the navel region, which will last for a few hours till your food is completely digested. So eat smaller meals, full of fiber, full of nutrients, so that you feel full and that craving for more food is not there. Reduce obesity, because if you have a weak core muscles, then what happens when you're obese? It stretches further. Just think of it. The area near your navel will stretch further, leading to more opening of the diastasis recti if you already have it, and more protrusion of this organ if you have umbilical hernia. And it will put pressure on the pelvic diaphragm also. correct your posture. Now, this is very important for diastasis recti. See, when you're sitting straight, at that time, your rectus abdominis is also falling straight. But when you're slouching, just feel your tummy. The line on your tummy is horizontal now. That is the diastasis. If it is there, it is opening more. So the position of your body should be correct and it should be straight. I'll explain it here further. We have a diaphragm below the rib cage and we have a pelvic floor diaphragm also, which is also called a pelvic diaphragm. When we breathe in, the diaphragm comes down. The diaphragm below our rib cage also comes down to allow our lungs to fill up with air, and the pelvic diaphragm also goes down. When we breathe out, both diaphragms come up. Now, actually, what is happening now? All of us are breathing very shallow and very naturally. So we are not deep breathing. When you take deep breaths, then you're giving a very good exercise to your pelvic floor muscles, like this. So very consciously, with awareness, breathe in deeply and breathe out. These are things that you can easily do at home. Okay. Now, another thing is sit on your sits bone. Now, from wherever you are sitting, feel below your asana, your back, your seat, wherever you're sitting, there are two bones. Feel below your spine. I can feel it from where I'm sitting. Place both your hands. If you're sitting with a mobile phone, place it somewhere and feel below your seat. There are two bones. When you're slouching forward or backward, you're not actually sitting on your sits bone. When we say that correct your posture, it also means a correct seated posture, which means sitting on your sits bone. Please try, all of you, and let me know if you're sitting on your sits bone or you're slouching forward or backward. Please don't slouch, sit straight. Women tend to, slouch more because of the weight or the pressure of the breasts also. The spine falls slightly forward. Please sit totally straight, shoulder back on your sits bone. Feel your sits bone first. Do it with awareness so that slowly it becomes a habit. When you sit on your sits. And please write in the chat box to tell me if you have found your sits bone or not. This is the image is of our pelvis from the back side. So the exit that you're seeing is the anal opening. Below that, quite close to that, is your sits bone. Now, it can be improved with yoga. Many a times, the diastasis recti, if it's a single finger gap, double finger gap also, with certain kind of yogic exercises, it can close. The sooner you find it, the better it is. You can do Kegel exercises if you're aware. Now, strengthen your core. This is a very important thing. The transverse abdominis is the deepest muscle in your core. And it wraps around you like a strap from the back to the front, and it covers everything till your navel. Now, it is the weakness in this transverse abdominis that leads to the pelvic floor collapse, the umbilical hernia, the diastasis recti, and everything. How do you know that your core is weak? If you're below your navel, your body appears like this. This is from a real patient. You should know that your core is actually weak. This is somebody who has hernia and also DR. If you become aware of it at the right time, it is better. The younger you are, the faster the recovery. When it is mild to moderate. We would advise that you do yoga with a trained instructor for this, for correcting their diastasis recti and umbilical hernia. Why? Because sometimes there are certain conditions because of which you cannot do certain exercises. Now here, this is halasana. This halasana is actually very good for umbilical hernia, but it is not good for somebody who has diastasis recti. Because when you bend, you take your legs above your head, the line which forms on your tummy is horizontal. Your rectus abdominis is not straight. So you can't do it. So we would suggest that you do it only with a trained yoga teacher so that we can see your condition and then advise the yogic postures to adopt. When you raise both your legs and both your hands, your head and shoulder, then a coning or a doming comes. That coning or doming should not be done for somebody who has hernia and DR. If you run or skip, then also the loose stomach, along with the muscles which are loose, it will cause only greater discomfort. So that is also something that you should not be doing. Don't crunch. So in this, you see an image of a lady who's lifting both her legs, another one who's lifting her legs and also the head and shoulders. This should not be done. I will show you one exercise to engage the transverse abdominis. How to engage the transverse abdominis, which is the most important muscle for developing core strength. So from wherever you're sitting, let me show you what you can do. Breathe in. Breathe out. And tuck your tummy in. Hold there. Yeah. This is a traditional exercise that you can do for engaging the transverse abdominis. How this is done is you have to breathe in. Breathe out. Hold it there for as long as you can. This way you can engage your transverse abdominis. And this is also something that you can do at home. Thank you so much, Raji, Sylvia, and all the participants for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed your program, and I hope there is a good positive takeaway for each one of you.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Sharmila. Thank you, Raji. Thank you, all participants. All your questions were so valuable and add so much to all of us. Thank you, Sharmila.
Most welcome.
Thank you so
Most
much.
welcome.